What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, before I get into this video, I want to remind you guys, as always, if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed yet for Too Raw for TV, please subscribe to Too Raw for TV. If you haven't hit that notification button, please hit that notification button so that you'll be notified of any and every video that drops on my channel as soon as it drops. And if you like or at least appreciate the content on my channel, please hit that like button. These are things that help not only my channel, but other channels in the Lions Den basketball community and the Lions Den boxing community be that much better. All right, if you want to support Too Raw for TV, if you want to show love for Too Raw for TV, if you can, you can do so via the the PayPal or the Cash App, if you can. But I more strongly advise you guys to join the Patreon than anything else. The reason being that's because YouTube recently lost a lawsuit and had to pay out almost $200 million. And to recoup those losses, YouTube may start deleting channels, especially channels they deemed non-profitable, aka smaller channels. So YouTube already targets certain channels anyway, so there's a possibility that a channel like mine may be deleted. Hopefully it doesn't happen. But if you guys support Too Raw for TV, I strongly suggest you come over to the Patreon for only $2 per month. And on the Patreon, I can talk about stuff I can't talk about on YouTube anyway. So, just want to put that out there. Now, this video is pretty much just like my response to what Nick Wright and Chris Broussard were talking about when they were talking about the Clippers and Mavericks game from last night. And they were basically saying that they believe that. Well, no, actually, Nick Wright said this. I take that back. Chris Broussard did say this. Nick Wright believes that Luka Doncic is he's playing better basketball than Kawhi Leonard. So he's essentially saying that he's a better player. Now, this is what I don't understand. Okay, he was talking about, in his eyes, Luka is pretty much the next LeBron. And he's the next LeBron James. And that, he was just pretty much just shitting on Kawhi, man. Like, basically, that Luka is doing more with less, essentially. And that Kawhi is a part-time player and he's not having a good season. He's overrated, whatever. And this is the thing I noticed. Number one, let's get something out the way. If I'm not mistaken, the Clippers neutralized Luka Doncic last night, right? 22 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Now, those are pretty good numbers, but far below his seasonal average, right? Kawhi Leonard finished strong last night. 28 points, 11 of 21 shooting, and the Clippers won rather easily. Now, up until last night, all you kept hearing was about Luka Doncic. Can he average a triple-double? He's chasing Oscar Robertson as if that hadn't been done since Oscar Robertson. A certain player's been omitted, I guess, for some reason, for some people. And how the Mavericks had this historic offense. They were on pace to have, the best scoring numbers for a team in the last 45, almost 50 years, right? Even more so than the high-octane Warriors and all this. But now, all of a sudden, Luka's playing with a bunch of bums while Kawhi has all this help. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? Doesn't that sound like a typical extreme LeBron fanboy argument? These guys are so predictable, man. This is the thing. No matter how great, how high octane an offensive team is, great defense will always neutralize that. I remember the 1999 this is when I was really following baseball. I think it was the 99 All-Star game. I believe it was that. I believe it was the 99 All-Star game. And I believe it was in Fenway Park because I remember Mark McGwire put on a epic performance in the home run derby that year. And Pedro Martinez, I believe, was the starting pitcher. And you gotta remember back then in the National League, they had some hitters, man. They had some power hitters. They had some sluggers. They had McGwire, who hit 65 home runs a year after hitting 70 the year before. Sosa hit 63 that year after hitting 66 the year before that. I think Greg Vaughn was an all-star then. I think they had Larry Walker, who was hitting like 40 home runs a year with the Colorado Rockies, and some other people I can't think of off the top of my head right now. Um, there was a lot of guys, a lot of sluggers, and he made them all look like amateurs. I mean, chasing bad pitches, striking these guys, striking out the side. I mean, just killing them because that's what great defense does. And for Nick Wright's argument that if you put Luka on the Clippers, they'd be even better, that doesn't make any sense. They would be a great team, but number one, let's be honest, Luka isn't known for playing good defense. All right, so no, no, he would be a great player, but he doesn't give you the same things that Kawhi give you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, I'm just irritated at the level of disrespect aimed at Kawhi Leonard by Nick Wright, man. And this is why I'm always I have so much animus toward extreme LeBron fanboys. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong. I've heard Skip Bayless say some stupid shit recently. Like, I think it was a segment on Undisputed where they were talking about the Lakers complaining about LeBron not getting enough free throws. I did a video about that. And Skip said some shit like, well, maybe the officials aren't calling fouls for LeBron because they don't want to see him continually keep missing from the foul line. First of all, LeBron's not that bad a free throw shooter. He's still about 70%. That's not great, but it's not terrible either. Secondly, it's a stupid troll thing. That's why I don't make as many videos about Skip Bayless as anybody else, because Skip has been proven to be a troll. He's making the same arguments that he made 10, 12 years ago before LeBron was winning. All right, he's still making these same arguments. So that's why I don't take him serious. But these guys like Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, they still have a little bit more credibility in some people's eyes than Skip Bayless. So that's why I'm a little bit harsher on them. Also, those guys, they blatantly mislead and lie. They lie. Skip cherry picks, but these guys lie. And that's the difference. But like I said, man, um, it's obvious with guys like Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp what the issue is. Last year, these guys were all pro Kawhi because, especially in the finals, because they wanted Kawhi and the Raptors to beat the Golden State Warriors because the Warriors have been LeBron's nemesis for so many years, right? So for them, that was a victory for LeBron fans, even if LeBron didn't do it himself. And they were under the assumption that Kawhi was coming to the Lakers and formed this super duper team that was going to win LeBron the next 3 or 4 championships. But Kawhi proved he was not a second banana and he wanted to be his own man. Then, interestingly, everybody became anti Kawhi all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Calling Kawhi a part time player and talking about Paul George. Well, I know he's going to show up for work, but didn't Paul George miss the first 10 games of the season due to injury? Now that wasn't his fault. He was injured, but it's been noted that Kawhi has a degenerative problem with his knee, and he has a knee injury. Okay, and it's been affecting his level of play, but they don't want to admit that. For some reason, they keep putting out this narrative that Kawhi is, I guess, spoiled, pampered, and maybe a little lazy or some stupid shit like that. I just find these guys absolutely disgusting at times. You know what I'm saying? And to bring up his shooting percentage, yeah, right now Kawhi is shooting like 44% from the floor, 31% from three. His numbers are down a little bit, but part of that is because he's hurt and he's playing through an injury. He's not as healthy as he usually is. But those numbers will increase as the season goes on. Those numbers will go up. And it's just sickening to me, man, these guys, man, and their arguments, man. Um, Also, for Nick Wright to compare Luka and say he's the next LeBron, if I'm a LeBron fan, I'm like, well, how are you saying that? Are you just going by stats? Are you going by just the fact that he's scoring 30 points and putting up almost a triple double every night? Like, LeBron was 6'8". He's 6'8", 250, 260, 270, whatever. He's an athletic freak of nature. Um, I mean, just a bull of a basketball player, such a physical force. Luka's not like that, you know. Luka's more of a little bit of a, I don't know. I guess there's a little LeBron in his game, but he's a little bit more of an efficient James Harden type. He's like James Harden, but a better rebounder and maybe a little bit better passer and better overall shooter. You know what I'm saying? To compare him to LeBron, I do see the comparison because I knew they were going to do that, but there's a lot of differences. All right. And the fact that Luka hasn't even played in one playoff game, we don't know. Luka hasn't done enough, in my opinion, to warrant that type of comparison yet. He hasn't done enough. It's insulting. Kawhi has proven to be a consistent clutch performer, and he's proven himself to be a guy that can carry a team consistently when other guys aren't going, when other guys aren't sure of themselves. Kawhi is one of those guys, okay, now he knows it's time to take over. We've seen time and time again this season, Kawhi may not be having the greatest game, but come fourth quarter in the clutch, he'll come through. And I remember so many different games where Kobe would be shooting like crap. And in the fourth quarter, Kobe would deliver. I remember it was a game against the Charlotte Hornets, I think it was. It was either the Charlotte Hornets or the Denver Nuggets. I can't remember which one of the opponents was. It might have been Denver. And Kobe shot like absolute crap that game. Like, I want to say going into the fourth quarter, Kobe was like 3 of 20. I mean, he was having one of the worst games of his career. And he went on to hit every big shot in that fourth quarter to win the game for the Lakers. I think he finished like, I want to say 8 for 29 or something like that. He had a terrible shooting game. I remember Michael Jordan in a game. It was the first couple of games of Tim Duncan's career, and Jordan shot for the game 12 for 39. It was probably the worst shooting game of his career, but for that many amount of attempts. But every shot that he made, especially in the second half and especially the fourth quarter into overtime, he hit every big shot that they needed, including the game-tying three-pointer to send the game into overtime. I remember that game like it was yesterday. If you look at the stats, you'd have been like, damn, Jordan played like shit. But if you watch the game, you'd have been like, yeah, he shot like shit, but he hit every damn shot that they needed when they needed from him. And sometimes a guy can shoot 14 for 20, but 6 of those misses, 4 of them come when they need them the most and they lose. So box score can be a little bit misleading. Stats can sometimes be a little misleading. All right. To emphasize my point a little further with this, I think I'll end the video with this. I remember the second half of the 96-97 season. Jordan was kind of passive, and Jordan had a string of games where he wasn't playing up to Jordan-like standards. Meanwhile, Glenn Rice was leading the NBA in scoring after the All-Star break. After the All-Star break, Glenn Rice averaged nearly 30 points per game. And you could make the argument, if this was in February of 97, man, right now, man, as hot as he is, I'd take Glenn Rice over anybody, including Jordan. And if you're like a young, impressionable fan, you can make that argument. But if you knew anything about basketball, you would have slapped the shit out of somebody for saying something like that. Like I'm saying, Luka is a very good player, and one day he will be a great player. But he has not established himself as an all-time great. Kawhi Leonard is establishing himself as an all-time great, but he's done much more to have a case for that. To go to the Toronto Raptors, a team that has been ridiculed for being swept and beaten in the playoffs constantly by LeBron, and to take that team to a finals and win it, and now going to the Clippers and having them pretty much as one of the top teams, if not the top team in the NBA, if not record-wise, just as far as like dominance, he presents a clear and present danger to LeBron legacy. And I think guys like Nick Wright and Shannon Sharp, they realize that. And they know Luka's not a threat right now. So they're using Luka as a pawn in this overall chess game. You know what I'm saying? I see what they're doing. I see them.